Welcome to the Climate Restoration Founders Inaugural Gathering. Please open your cameras and mute yourself. You see the instructions in the chat if you want to participate. We're going to start the presentation. There's a lot of information on this slide, let's look at it carefully. Let's start with the trillion-ton elephant in the room. We have the plan to end global warming by 2050. This is an epic mission to give our grandchildren a safe climate. So I want that to sink in, right? Some of us have been working on this for decades. And now, for the first time, and as far as I know, this may be the only viable plan to end global warming by restoring the climate. And so this is a very, very exciting moment. You know, we just spoke before this meeting. Peter and I have been waiting for this moment for 8 years since we launched the Foundation for Climate Restoration in 2017. The next thing that we see on the right is this picture that I really love, that tells the story. My future is in your hands. We're doing this for our children, our grandchildren, and future generations. And in that context, I would like to share a short video with you.
We are the future generations. We do not vote, so governments don't prioritize us. We do not pay taxes, so we are not in the budget. We do not buy products, so corporations ignore us. But you, our parents, our grandparents, our aunts and uncles, you have the power now. You are writing the story we will be born into. Will it be a world of chaos and collapse, or one of restoration, beauty, and life? We ask you to be bold, to stand up for us when no one else will, to make the choices today that will give us a tomorrow. Join the Climate Restoration Alliance. Sign the Climate Restoration Resolution. Fund the projects that restore the climate. Speak for us until we can speak for ourselves.
Very good. So this is who we're doing this work for, our children and our future generations. The last thing I want to point out in this slide is that statement here: welcome founders and friends. Today, we're going to introduce a new concept, a new structure that will serve us for the next 5 years and hopefully for the next 25 years as we restore the climate. And this is the Climate Restoration Founders Circle. By the way, for those who don't know me, my name is Ilan Mandel. I'm the CEO of the Climate Restoration Alliance, co-founder of Climate Restoration, along with Peter. This Climate Restoration Founders Circle, right? These are going to be 1,000 people that will go down in the history books as the group that made climate restoration happen. And so we're going to take this meeting right now to recognize the people that have been making meaningful contributions and supporting us along the way. I assume there's about 100 people like that, and this is going to be the first group, the primary founders. And then from today on, we're going to start inviting other founders, including individuals, corporations, family offices, and so on, to become founders, to step into that inner circle and be one of the 1,000 people that will go down in the history books as the people that made climate restoration possible. So today, this is the inaugural meeting, the first time that we're meeting as founders. We have two groups of people on this call: people that are already founders and people that are friends and potential founders and want to learn more, want to step in and support and participate. And so in the first part of the meeting, the conversation is going to be between the founders. And the friends and potential founders are going to be observing. If you have any questions, you can write them down. That's going to take about 45, 50 minutes. And then after that, after we review the plan, we acknowledge everybody, then we're going to open it up to new people to step in, to ask questions, and hopefully to become founders even in this meeting. Just one last note, inside the founder circles, we're going to have groups and committees and teams that are going to be working on various aspects of our movement, of the climate restoration industry, and so on. The steering committee, we have a few people here. I'm going to acknowledge them in a minute. The ambassador program, investor club, these are a few examples of teams or committees that we're going to set up from within the founders circle. And these people are going to lead those initiatives, help to develop them, and so on. So I want to start with acknowledging the founders. Since this is the first time that we're meeting, some of the founders are meeting each other for the first time. Most of you don't even know that you're founders yet. So let's make that declaration. So the first people on the list are Peter and Sharon Fiakovsky. I think most people know them. But I just want to say a few words about, Peter. Not only that Peter took about 10 years to do the research and find out what was missing and came up with the concept of climate restoration. Not only that he led the creation of this movement, and not only that he's been working tirelessly on the engineering and the science and the presentations and the articles. Recently, Peter had a TEDx talk. Peter, how many views do you have right now on that TEDx talk? It was over 100,000.
Over 100,000 now. Yes.
Yeah. So that's amazing. And we see the response finally after 8 years, the hockey stick is starting to climb up. And not only all of that, Peter has funded climate restoration in the early years, investing millions to make this happen. So this would be a great opportunity to use the clap hands and give Peter a great a round of applause. Peter, do you want to say a few words? You're going to have an opportunity to speak in a few slides, but at this point.
Oh, just thank you. It's a privilege to be doing this. There are good days and bad mornings, but every day is a good morning working together. And so thank you all for being founders with us.
Thank you.
And it makes a big, huge difference.
Very good.
I can't tell you.
Very good. Thank you, Peter. So alongside Peter, myself and Terry Molnar co-founded the Foundation for Climate Restoration in 2017. I don't know if Terry is here. If he's here, he can say a few words, but I don't see him right now. Ilana, my wife, on top of being my wife and keeping me humble, Ilana also produced the COP27 event in Sharm el-Sheikh a few years ago, co-founded with me the Climate Restoration Network here in Israel, and he's on the board of the Grandparents Fund. We have Chuck, Judy, and Frank from the steering committee. Chuck has been our first climate restoration ambassador and the first climate restoration ambassador to Rotary. He has single-handedly brought in hundreds of people into climate restoration. So thank you very much, Chuck. And Judy and Frank are doing a great job for over the last maybe 2 years, running the steering committee, the ambassador program. AM is our fundraising facilitator. So I'm just going to give you heads up. AM is great at getting people to their new comfort zone, which means that he has to help them get out of their existing comfort zone first. So be ready for that. He's relentless. Diane has been with us for over 2 years, giving monthly and making significant contributions. Ellen and Joe have been working hundreds of hours as volunteers on the buoy project, the sensors, and so on. Peter, Felix, and Ellen made significant financial contributions. On the right side, we have 3 angels. Like I said, climate restoration founders. Those of us who have been working are part of the founders circle. But from now on, we're going to invite people to join as founders with a $5,000 a year pledge. But angels go even further than that. So we have Carl Page, who gave us, he's our biggest donor, almost $250,000 to date. Kirk is an angel. We have Kirk with us, but I want to show you who Kirk is. So I'll share a video report that he created after we got back from our Togo mission.
Bamboo cultivation in Togo. I am part of a team from the Climate Restoration Network working to establish large-scale bamboo cultivation in Togo, Africa. We visited Togo in August 2025 because we want to demonstrate that bamboo businesses can do a lot of good in Togo and produce profits at the same time. It's only been within the last year that I've become aware of some affordable, viable solutions to the climate crisis, and bamboo is an important part of the answer. It's one of the fastest growing plants on Earth, and it can sequester carbon 3 to 4 times faster than trees. It's also a very valuable resource. Adding this new cash crop to Togo will provide many new local jobs, help improve the region's poor soil, and will sequester large amounts of carbon dioxide. In Togo, we're partnering with a local NGO called AREF, which was founded by Ms. Simoko Epifani. She grew up in the north of Togo and founded AREF to improve the lives of women and children and to promote sustainable development in Togo. The mission of the Climate Restoration Network is to restore a safe and livable climate for humanity. The leader of our group is Ilan Mendel from Israel. He is the founder of the Climate Restoration Network. He is a visionary genius and the creator of this plan. Alana Mendel is married to Ilan, and she's a fervent supporter. Ran Lichter is also from Israel, where he's known as the Bamboo Man. He's one of the world's leading experts on bamboo cultivation. Victor Gagba is an expert in agricultural development who grew up in Togo and now lives in Israel. He initiated the high-level contacts in Togo that opened the doors to our participation. Dr. Folega is a professor at the University of Lomé and an expert in land and forest restoration. Mr. Konlabig is the project coordinator for AREF, and he arranged the big meeting up north that won the support of so many landowners. 2 journalists from the Togolese press agency were constantly with us. My wife and I were honored to personally finance the trip, covering the team's airfare, hotels, and other expenses for the week. In 3 cars, our team took the 10-hour drive to the north of Togo and met with about 60 local landowners, mayors, and officials to present the plan. The reception was outstanding. Word spread, and by the end of the day, 75 landowners had expressed interest in participating. We also identified over 30,000 acres of underutilized land that is suitable for bamboo. The type of bamboo we'll be using stays in clumps, so it's not invasive. It grows to a harvestable size in as little as 3 years, and annual harvesting can continue from the same roots for over 40 years. Togo's 9.5 million people are among the poorest in the world, with roughly half the population living on less than $1.25 a day. But I was pleased to see no starving children on our trip. In the capital city of Lomé, we saw many people with cell phones and motorcycles. In the north, I was struck by the absence of motorized farm equipment. Farming is done by hand. Most home cooking is done with charcoal, and trees are cut for fuel. Despite the hardships of Togo, the local organizers are incredibly committed to the success of this project. A sustainable business model. In addition to planting vast fields of bamboo, our goal is to create multiple businesses and infrastructure to support ongoing, profitable enterprises. Charity does a lot of wonderful work in the world, but creating businesses that both make money and do good is a far more effective way to create lasting change and impact, because the profits can be reinvested to multiply the results. Once we prove the viability of this model in Togo, we can begin to replicate it in other countries in Africa and around the world. There's no doubt that humanity faces many problems, more than will be solved in my lifetime. But engaging in this challenge has produced a shift in my own perspective. I am no longer a helpless spectator. I now see myself as a leader who takes effective action to solve big problems that really matter to me and to many others. I find that to be both satisfying and fulfilling. My wife and I have provided the seed funding, and we now invite you to join us by making a financial investment in climate restoration. With your support, this seedling will rapidly grow into a thriving force, strong, self-sustaining, and capable of restoring the climate for our children, grandchildren, and for generations to come. Thank you for listening.
Togo Bamboo Project is not just a project in Togo, because all of us in the entire world are restoring the climate together. Thank you very much. Very good. Thank you. So before we jump into OIF, right, which is the main topic of our conversation, as you heard in the video, there are other aspects in terms of the engagement, the outreach, getting countries involved in climate restoration and so on that the project in Togo serves. Kirk, would you like to say a few words briefly?
Yeah, thanks. Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Okay, great. So I first became interested in this and learned about it from Peter's amazing book, which I hope you all know about and have read, and particularly the subtitle, "The Only Future That Will Sustain the Human Race." So this is a path forward, and it's great to be working with such brilliant people on this. I said in the video that I think that Alain is a genius, and he truly is, and there's a lot of smart people in the world. Indeed, there are. But how many of them actually have a plan to solve a problem that matters to all of us? And how many of them are actually working on that plan and having everything happen and working with other people and spending many years, as Peter and Alain have, on making it happen and working with other people? So the climate crisis is real. It's with us now. I'm Canadian. You hear in the news about the wildfires. And so, yes, this is for our grandchildren, but it's impacting us now. It definitely is. As a businessman, as an entrepreneur, I look for opportunities where there's a need in the world and where a small investment will produce an enormous outcome. And so this is the place for me. That's why I have invested over $100,000 in climate restoration. And this is exciting. I'm 75 years old. I've lived a comfortable life. Engaging this work, I've realized that my comfortable life was made possible because of fossil fuels that powered the tractors and the cars and built the roads and the houses and heated my house. And now, all that carbon's got to be removed. The results of our work will come probably mostly after I'm gone. But the act of engaging in this is nurturing and fulfilling for me right now. It gives me a sense of purpose, and I love it. I'm no longer just a spectator. I'm really an agent of change. And together we can produce the future that our grandchildren deserve. I also want to extend an invitation for those of you who are interested in developing the business side of climate restoration, which is investing, collaborating, and exploring new economic models that address the root causes of this crisis. And I'd love to connect with you about that. Together, we can shape a new economy that restores rather than depletes our world. Thank you for being here.
Thank you, Kirk. Kirk is an example of what found how big of a difference climate restoration founder can make. He stepped in. He made the right financial contribution at the right time. He got engaged. He participated in the conversation to understand what is happening behind the scenes. And as you saw, he came with us to Togo. The next angel on the list, the third angel, is Kevin Shanley. Unfortunately, he couldn't be here with us today, but he did make a short video, so I'm going to share his message with you, and that will put us on the track to the OIF conversation. Let me share the screen again.
Hello, I'm Kevin Shanley, and I want to share with you why I think it's critical to support the Ocean Iron Fertilization Project, otherwise known as the OIF Pilot Project. I believe, from readings of available scientific information, that we're dancing along the edge of a potential civilizational collapse due to the ever-increasing use of fossil fuels over the last 200 years and the concomitant buildup of carbon dioxide and methane in our atmosphere to levels never seen in the history of humankind. Right now, numerous internationally recognized institutions have scientific and academic ocean carbon research projects that may span decades. But we don't have decades to decide what to do before reaching severe climate tipping points. And that's why the OIF pilot project is so important. We need a real world, carefully monitored demonstration of the effectiveness of spreading tiny amounts of iron in a downwelling ocean eddy to show the cost effectiveness and safety of this climate restoration approach. This is important enough to me that I have offered the Climate Restoration Alliance a challenge grant to raise the money for their small technical team of scientists and engineers to move forward with a pilot project. I encourage each of you to consider acting now to vouchsafe a healthy climate for your family, your community, the country, and the planet. Make a 3-year commitment of just $5,000 per year to make real steps toward that healthy climate and become a climate champion. If just 20 of you make this commitment before the end of the year, I will match it with a $100,000 gift. This offer will repeat itself for the next 3 years if 20 additional individuals make the commitment each year, resulting in a total of $1.2 million to move the pilot project forward. If there is someone out there with deeper pockets than mine and who can double the challenge grant for each of the succeeding 3 years, we can raise the $10 or $12 million that's needed for the full pilot project. And I'd like to hope we can raise more than that so the pilot project can have more in-depth monitoring and a longer period of testing. This is a small but vitally important step toward a restored climate for all. Please act now to make this vital step. Thank you.
So thank you very much, Kevin. The next person on our list, again, Kevin couldn't be here today, but you heard his plea. And this is, again, it's an example of somebody that recognized the opportunity, stepped in, helped in the way that he could, and he has the means to do that. Absolutely amazing. The next person on the list is Bob Wright. Bob is our volunteer treasurer. 81 years old, stepped in. We're meeting once a week to go over the financial management and reporting. So Bob is not feeling well, but he sent a letter that I'm going to read. I've been working closely with Ilan over the past several months, reviewing both the financial position of the Grandparents Fund and the plans to move forward with climate restoration. From everything I've seen, this really is the only and best plan that can actually solve the climate crisis once and for all. I am both a donor and an investor in climate restoration, working my way up to the angel level. And I believe deeply in the vision, the plan, and the team that's making it happen. I've also arranged a gift from my estate in honor of my son, Forrest Robert Wright, because I believe this work must continue long after us. Let me just say one thing about that. You know, Kirk said he may not be here for seeing the solution. So nobody's going anywhere. Get ready to live up to 100. All right. We need you to stay with us. The fund's books have been managed properly, which is remarkable considering Ilan has been doing it all himself. We're now building the financial systems and structure needed to grow into a strong, well-managed, multi-million-dollar organization. As volunteer treasurer, I'll continue to keep an eye on things until we bring on a CFO. We're actively looking and interviewing candidates. I also want to take a moment to thank Climate Restoration Angel Kevin Shanley for his leadership and generosity in launching the challenge grant. I didn't mention it, but Bob was the one that brought Kevin in. So that conversation made it possible to launch the challenge grant. Kevin's commitment in helping us take this work to the next level. Okay, if you haven't already, please take a few minutes to watch Kevin's video we just did. It's inspiring and it captures exactly why this work matters so much. At the end of the day, this is about responsibility. We have a moral obligation to act, and in this case, the action is to give. I've pledged and donated $5,000 per year for 3 years, and I invite each of you to join me at whatever level you can. Together, we can make climate restoration a reality. So thank you very much, Bob, and I hope you feel better soon. At this point, I want to say that anybody that isn't the founder yet or is willing to step up and step in and make that $5,000 commitment, use the party popper emoji. And when we see that, we're going to stop everything and acknowledge that person. And at that moment, you stepped into the founder circle and into this conversation. Let me continue with the presentation.
Elon, if there's any shy people, can they also send a note to you?
Yes, yes. Obviously, you don't have to be public about it. You can send a private note. You can reach out after the meeting. Absolutely. Thank you very much, Judy, for that. Who else do we have here on that list? So we have Frank and Terry Sanitate. Frank is here with us, made significant contribution, financial contribution, and also stepped in at the right place to give the advice and the insights that made a big difference. We also have Richard and Eloise. You're with us, Eloise? Right? You're here. I don't see her here. But Richard and Eloise reached out a few days ago and said that they don't have a lot of money, but they want to participate, and they want to make sure that their contribution actually works. So they're asking to be the 10th champion, right? We already have five champions, 4 champions. So we need 5 more to get to 10. And I think we have enough people on this call to help Richard and Eloise step in and be the 10th donor. If anybody's ready to jump in, let me know. We also want to acknowledge the ambassadors. We have about, yes, Diane, did you want to say something?
I was trying to follow directions to say that I will be one of the champions.
Oh, very good. Everybody use the applause. Thank you very much, Diane. You are a champion.
And Ron also said he would be a champion.
Excellent. Thank you very much, Ron. Big round of applause. Thank you very much. Good. We're also going to include the long-time monthly donors. Some people have been with us for over 2 years. So if you've been making monthly contributions, doesn't matter what the amount is, for more than 12 months, you're going to be considered a founder. And then, like we said, down the road, we're going to open it out to family offices and corporate founders that will step in, make financial pledges, and go down in the history books as the people or corporations or family offices, in this case, that made climate restoration happen. Very good. So now let's talk about our plan. So our mission is to end global warming by 2050 by restoring the climate to safe pre-industrial levels. You can see in this visualization that what we want is to turn the climate crisis into a blip in history, for CO2 to peak around 2030, around the time that we are running in full scale, and then we see the CO2 levels go down. That will be a big party to see the needle moving in the other direction. Just by show of hands, who is on board with this plan? Very good. Very good. So how are we going to do that? We're going to use the main pathway, what we call the main climate restoration pathway, which is ocean iron fertilization. And Peter, this is your areas of expertise. Please walk us briefly through the process.
Okay. Well, thank you. And thank you, the new donors. This is wonderful, the new founders. So ocean iron fertilization is the way that nature has restored the climate many times over the last million years or more. And the way we'll do it is, well, what nature does, of course, is putting iron in the right places in the ocean from dust storms. And as you see in the diagram here, what we do is, or we will be doing, is distributing the iron-rich dust from the back of ships. Now, we'll need somewhere between 10 and 50 of these ships around the world. So it's not a large number. They're not big. They're sort of $1 or $2 million ships, mostly, as far as we can tell. And they'll be distributing iron much the same way that if you have a lawn, you may distribute fertilizer on your lawn with a little spreader. And the iron dust is practically free. There are various ways, various forms of it, and we're not too sure which of them we'll actually use. But the bottom line is that it's widely available, nearly free, and it's the same thing nature has been doing for millions of years. Of course, testing monitoring will always be done to make sure no surprising side effects. Now, there have been surprising side effects, but they've all been positive. with huge increases in fish growth in certain cases. And so the place that we put the iron is always in downwelling eddies, because it turns out, as you would imagine, that when you provide the iron, which grows the phytoplankton, which turns that part of the ocean greener, providing food, the fish eat it. Amazing, not amazing. And they digest it and metabolize it, and eventually it exhale it as CO2, which goes back into the air. With a downwelling eddy, that removes a lot of the biocarbon from the phytoplankton into the deep ocean before it gets digested and metabolized by the fish. And that's one of the big keys to success, and what's never been considered until the last year or two. And so when I and my team discovered that. The other part of it is providing enough iron, and this is quite new, providing enough iron so that the nitrogen fixing bacteria can grow. Just as you probably know that farmers need to grow beans or something like that in order to have the nitrogen fixing bacteria fix the nitrogen that all plants need. We have to do the same in the ocean. And the way that's done is by providing enough iron for that. And since the iron is, as I said, very inexpensive, it doesn't add to the cost, but it allows about 100 times more CO2 to be removed than previous theories have thought were even possible. We had a clue that there was something missing in the theory when we observed that after the Mount Pinatubo erupted, nature removed almost 1,000 times more iron than was thought to be possible. So we now understand how. So Alon, that's the story about how ocean iron fertilization works.
Excellent. Thank you very much, Peter. And for newcomers who are not don't have enough understanding of OIF and want to dig deeper, a few months ago we had one of our community updates focused on the science and engineering of ocean iron fertilization. You can find that recording on our website, and we also share it in the meeting notes that we're going to share with all of you after this meeting. In the next few days. So if you want to dive deeper into OIF, there's a lot of information on our website, on Peter's website. So you're invited to do so. Now that we know what we're going to do and we know why we're going to do it, right? We're going to do it for future generation. Let's talk about when we're going to do it. Our plan is simple, ambitious, but simple. In the next 2 years, 2026, 2027, we'll do a few pilots, initially to test the equipment, to make sure that the buoys and the sensors and the satellite communication works, and we have the ability to analyze the data that is coming from satellites. That's probably going to be in 2026. And then in 2027, we plan to have a full-scale pilot project with significant amount of iron in the ocean and significant amount of CO2 removed. 2028, 29, and 30, we're going to focus on scaling up the operations, expecting to get to a full scale of about 50 sites, 25 ships, moving between the different sites, fertilizing, going to the next location. We're talking about 500,000 tons of iron dust per year. And our goal is to remove 60 gigatons of CO2 from the atmosphere every year. All right, so 50 to clean up the legacy emissions, and the other 10 is to account for the emissions that are still happening and probably won't be able to decarbonize. So that's the plan. Like I said, very ambitious to scale up in 5 years, a technology, a solution that isn't commercial yet. So OIF is still in the R&D phase. That's why we need the next 2 years, but we're not going to wait until OIF is ready to scale. We're going to start laying the groundwork, setting up the infrastructure, the logistics, the agreements. That's part of the plan. We're not going to get into the details today, but those of you, those founders that want to step in, get more, the under the hood, behind the curtain details, you're welcome to step in. So just before we move on, I'd like you to write in the chat. Knowing that we have a plan, knowing that we have what by when, how does that make you feel? Please write, one sentence in the chat. Very good. So let's talk about money, how much it's going to cost, right? We estimate that we're going to need about $1 billion a year for the next 25 years. Hopefully, obviously, it's going to start lower and scale up over the next few years. That comes down to less than 1 cent per US citizen per day. Very, very doable in terms of finances. And especially when we compare it to the trillions of dollars that we're spending or wasting right now on climate damages, floods and droughts and hurricanes and climate refugees. These are all going to go away or get back to normal once we complete our job. And the important thing to understand, and that's why we need everybody to give us this push right now, is that once we have the pilot projects going, once we have the scientific validation of the measurement of the equipment of the CO2 removal, that will unlock billions of dollars for implementation. So what we're doing now is getting into what you call it an escape velocity, right? To escape velocity to evolve from a very lean startup to a well-established organization. And then the next jump in two years or so is going to be to a fully operational company or several companies ecosystem that can manage these 50 sites and make OIF happen. So before we move forward, I want to invite all of you to our upcoming events. On October 22nd, we're going to have a community update. This is going to be a public event open for everybody, opportunity to bring in new people. Our Zoom can hold up to 500 people. So let's bring everybody. On November 12th, by the way, these are the QR codes if you want to scan them. Or Judy, if you can paste those registration links in the chat. On November 12th, about a month from today, we're going to have the follow-up meeting of founders. That meeting is going to be after we've already established who the founders are, how we're going to move forward, what kind of teams we want to start with. We'll basically create the plan for the next 90 days because come January, we want to get going full speed ahead. Ideally, we would meet our goal. Our goal is to raise $200,000 by the end of November. 100,000 of that will go towards matching the OIF grant, and the other 100 will go to cover everything else: the ambassadors, the operations, the marketing, salaries for staff, and so on. We're hoping that by November 12th, that's before the deadline, we're going to be able to report that we've met our goal of 200,000. And so we can focus on actually starting building that infrastructure, that structure that's going to help us scale over the next 5 years. If that's not going to be the case, then the November 12th is going to be focused on fundraising, bringing more founders and more donations. When we reach our goal on November 30th or sooner, reaching $200,000, then, like I said, 100,000 will go to match the challenge grant, and we're going to get that in January. So if and when everything goes well, we're going to start the year with $300,000, 200 for OIF, 100,000 for everything else, and that would be enough to get going. But like Kevin said, we're hoping to raise much more than that. Every dollar that's going to be raised is going to be put to very good use. Just to give you a sense, we're not going to get into that, but some of the working groups that we're considering to invite the founders into, we have the steering committee already running and operational with Judy, Frank, Chuck, Peter, and myself. But we're going to look to see if we want to add new people into the steering committee. Of course, Ocean Iron Fertilization is going to have its own dedicated group, organizing, planning, strategizing about the implementation of OIF. And then other programs like the ambassadors, the 1 Million People for Climate Restoration campaign, the Elder Council, Finance, Investor Club, Climate Restoration Centers, and so on. These are going to be tools to engage with people, companies, organizations, and governments to set the stage and lay the groundwork for the rapid scale-up of OIF in about 2 years from now. Okay, so I want to acknowledge the team. Obviously, this is a team effort. A lot of those people we acknowledged as founders already. But I want to mention Matt, who is our marine biologist, our advisor on ocean health. We have Reinder with us, stepping in, taking his time to understand the lay of the land. Reinder is an expert organizational development and a coach. So we can't wait, Reinder, for you to step in and show us your magic. We have a bamboo advisor that's been producing bamboo products for the last 30 years. I didn't ask if I can show his name, so that's why he's anonymous yet. We have a director of operation from Kenya, a volunteer with 20 years experience that is coming on board right now. And Rohit from India is slowly taking over a digital marketing strategy and implementation. On the right side, you can see the bamboo project, Madame Somoko. She's the president's wife in Togo and the president of RF, the nonprofit organization working with Dr. Foleger from the University of Lome, Ran the Bamboo Man, and Colonel Big, director of operation for RF, and Victor, who is the Togolese living in Israel, that made the connection between us and the Togolese government. We have about 30 ambassadors, and we're expanding our ambassador program right now. And a subset of these ambassadors are Rotarians that are working to engage with Rotary. Rotary's been supporting us, including with some financial support for the Buoy project, and now we're looking to expand our engagement with Rotary. Kirk and Diane, is this urgent, or can you wait a few more minutes? If it's urgent, it's okay, I'll let you talk.
I'd love to hear a couple of words from the new people who stepped forward.
Very good. Thank you for that. We'll give them a chance. Diane?
So I can wait.
Okay, very good. So Kirk, that's a great idea. I'll let them speak in a minute. We're just about wrapping up the founders meeting, and then we're going to open it up for questions for new people to step in. Here's the question. Will you be remembered as one of the 1,000 people who restore the climate? So this is the opportunity to jump in. The recommended donation for founders is $5,000 a year for 3 years. That will serve to match the OIF grant as well. For Angel, it's $100,000 a year for 3 years. But let's just be serious. You know, this is all just rules and games and so on. At the end of the day, we need people, we need money, and we need to take action. So anything helps. Like AM says, we just need $1. And you decide how many zeros to put behind it. So our goal, like I said, is $200,000 by the end of November. The sooner we meet that goal, the sooner we can stop focusing on fundraising and start focusing on actually restoring the climate. Here are some ways to participate. There's a link if you want to make a donation right now on the website that will take you to a list of several projects. You're going to see the OIF grant challenge there, challenge grant, the general implementation fund. So it doesn't really matter what you choose to support. You can reach out to me personally via email or phone, and please join us for the next 2 events and invite others to join. I think that is it for now. Before we finish this part of the meeting, I'd like to congratulate Diane and Ron and Eloise and Richard for stepping in and becoming founders. Would you like to say a few words, Diane?
Yes. I came here with the intention of not stepping up this year, and I have been for several years now. And my finances aren't as clear right now as I would like them to be, and I just am taking the stand that I'm going to make it work somehow. So I don't have it all figured out. But, you know, some thoughts I have are like, I have friends and maybe relatives who might help me make that if I can't do it myself. You know, I can do enrollment. So
Yes, Dan, you're amazing. And this is the second time you're being amazing. I won't forget that other Zoom, what you said over there. And yeah, absolutely, definitely. We can pull a few people together. We have somebody that said, I can do 5, but I can do 1,000 a year for 3 years. So yeah, let's make that happen. Bring everybody along. Thank you very much, Diane. Ron, would you like to say a few words?
Yeah, any of you people that are on the call right now that might be on the fence, I want to let you know I've been kind of watching this project for probably almost since November, December last year. And I think you've got a great group of people. My skepticism, I move slowly on stuff like this, particularly when it means my money. And I've decided that this is a well-organized group of people. I think they've got a good plan. And I'm confident that if nothing else, we'll find out if this OIF stuff works. And that's a step in the right direction. And I'm willing to step in and help them move that forward because I frankly think I've looked hard at the technology, read the scientific papers, even though they're often over my head. But I think Peter and his crew are on the right track, and I think this will work. Thank
Very
you.
good.
And I'm
Thank
very
you.
proud to be part of this organization.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Ron. And we're very glad to have you with us. And yes, you've been taking small steps, and I'm happy that now you're ready to jump in. And I want to say, now is the time. The next 3 months are going to be used to set up the infrastructure and the structure. We're working with 2 pro bono law firms now to, look at the bylaws and all the legal aspects of everything that we're doing. Working with Bob on the financial management. We're going to create those teams of founders to start moving things forward. And everybody here has a lot to bring in, not just money, experience, skills, contacts. So that's what we need. We need our founders to bring in the rest of the founders. I want to call on Eloise and Richard. Are you here? I don't see them.
They were here, Elon, but I wonder also if I'm looking at Terry's comment, which I think is important because there may be people who are interested in being founders, but right now their money's committed in another direction as his is. And he said he's wondering if he could commit to raising money through some of the individuals and family offices I know. And there's probably some of us who are
Absolutely.
thinking, but I know people. Yeah.
Absolutely. Listen, we're not going to be strict about this, right? Anybody that wants to help, anybody that makes a contribution financially, bringing others to donate, spending time with us, giving us insights and so on. We welcome everybody that wants to play with us and can contribute. So absolutely. And Terry, yes, please reach out, or we'll reach out to you and we'll figure out how to bring in all of these folks. Frank, I would like to hear from you because you're one of our champions, and you invited a few people to this call. What say you, Frank?
Am I coming through?
You are coming through.
All right. Well, I hope to continue coming through till the plan is complete. It's people when people hear about how something can be done, like when there's a plan or a structure in place, it at least gives me a lot more hope to move forward and desire to move forward and play with the group. And I think what you guys are doing is great. And let's go. Let's move.
Let's go. Let's go. They say that Thomas Edison found 100 ways how not to make the light bulb before he found the one way that works. So I think after 8 years, we probably found around 90 ways how not to restore the climate. So we're right there at the end of that process, getting very close to the one that works. So thank you very much, Frank, for your commitment and for your financial support, and also for your insights and advice. I want to give credit to Frank. The title of this presentation, "The Plan to End Global Warming by 2050," that came from Frank. So thank you very much for that. AM, yes, please. And this is now it's open for everybody. You can raise your hand. New people, if you have any questions about what you've heard, please join the conversation.
Yeah, first I want to thank each and every one of you for coming. John Patterson, thank you for joining us from Toronto. Ellen, thank you from Zambia. Awesome, keep it up. Anthony, if you're still around from South Africa, we've got a lot of people from different parts who have got the energy and excitement. And like many people have said, it's very simple. Each and every one of you can be a founder, and your friends can be a founder. To be a founder is very simple. Using these two to listen to what's important to them, which is the climate. Without the climate, none of us exist, period. And as such, you have the opportunity to ask your friends and family members what is most important to them and why. And it is going to end up with the climate. And you could raise and talk to people about, coming up with 5,000 or more. You'd be shocked and surprised. You ask them for five, and they might hear 50,000, and that's perfectly all right as well. Okay. The other thing I also want to do is we are not the only ones. There are several groups working on the climate, several groups working on the climate. And our job is to connect with each and every group, and we are interested in what works. So I finally want to invite everyone to raise up your right hand. Just raise up your right hand, if you wouldn't mind. Wonderful. Now pat yourself on the back and say thank you for being here. Thank you.
Very good. Thank you very much, AM. We have Robert and Judy, and I would like to hear from Anthony Davis Hawes. He said, I'm interested in being a founder. I have a few questions and ideas. So please join the conversation, Anthony. Robert, please go ahead.
Thank you. I've really appreciated this. It was my brother-in-law, Kirk, who invited me here. Really glad I came to listen. I might position myself a few months behind Ron in his comments about having taken time to get there. I've heard of Kirk's enthusiasm about the project in Togo over the months. This is my first sort of perspective on the wider view of what is happening. So that's something I'm definitely going to be thinking about, talking over with my wife and deciding, if, what, and when to do. But I have a heretical question as well.
Mm-hmm.
And given the OIF project and the extent to which that is seen as viable to reduce carbon and the low cost of doing that, why do we bother to curtail fossil fuels?
That's an excellent question. We call it the moral hazard. And some people say exactly what you're saying, right? We give the oil companies a free pass to continue to pollute if we restore the climate. So I can answer that, but is there anybody else that want to take that?
I can just say something on that real quick.
Matt, go ahead.
I'm a marine biologist person working in ocean health for quite a few years now. We need to, like, net zero is the most important thing, period, right? And then on top of that, the IPCC in 2018 also concluded that we need to remove carbon dioxide as well if we want to get into a safe climate space. So both of those things must happen. You can't have one without the other. In fact, and net zero is the absolute bare minimum, and we have to work in that. This is a parallel track. There's about 1,000 gigatons, so 1,000 billion tons, too much carbon dioxide in our atmosphere. And another thing that'll happen, by the way, is once we get to net zero, which is absolutely mandatory, the ocean will equilibrate with the atmosphere. The ocean will burp, basically. Think about like your soda bottle. What happens when you open a soda bottle, right? And so we need to prepare for that by having carbon sequestration technologies as well, because the ocean will equilibrate with the atmosphere once we have less carbon being put into the atmosphere, which is already starting. We've kind of like gotten to this point. So anyway, both are absolutely imperative. Happy to talk more about that, but don't want to waste everyone's time.
Very good. Yeah, thank you very much for that, Matt. I'll also add that solar energy is now cheaper than oil in many cases, and so this is an economic process, right? Where oil companies want to continue to sell their product and make more money, even though we see that the market is going in a different direction. So decarbonization is extremely important. We need to learn how to have a circular economy and stop polluting everything, not just the atmosphere, but the oceans and all of that stuff. But that is unrelated to the fact that we need to remove those trillion tons of CO2 from the atmosphere. So like Matt said, we need to do both. And the reality is that we're not doing either at this point, right? Emissions continue to go up. We haven't started with climate restoration. So we got to move forward as quickly as we can on both fronts. Our focus is on climate restoration, not decarbonization at this point. Does that answer your question, Robert? Where's Robert?
Yep, it does. Thanks very much.
Very good. And about the first thing that you said, thank you very much for considering becoming a founder. You know Kirk, so you know where to find us, and we're happy to set up more intimate meetings to answer questions and accelerate your learning process. So you can jump in time for the November 30th deadline. Linda, please go ahead.
Well, also to mention what Robert asked about, taking Chuck's words. Chuck's like to say there's three poles of dealing with the climate, and one is adaptation, one is mitigation, and one is restoration. And like Elon says, we're doing restoration. There are thousands of people working on mitigation, and that has to happen too. So simultaneously, I've worked on climate 25 years, and it's just getting hotter. I realized after reading Peter's book a year ago, we have to start acting now on restoration. And I want to thank John Patterson for coming here from Canada. John's worked a lot on reforestation of areas with that are degraded in Canada. Also Chen Sun from originally from China, but I don't know if he's in New York or Washington, D.C. right now. And John Hecker from Washington, D.C., who has a lot of world development and Africa experience. So I just want to thank people for coming.
Very good. Thank you very much, Linda. I would like to hear from the people that haven't spoken yet. Anthony, Chris, Janine, Chen, John Patterson, would you like to say something?
I have a few questions, though. One thing that I discovered several years ago was the amount of fraud surrounding environmental conservation is staggering. Like, because people assume that they're giving money to not, I'm not saying this organization's fraudulent by any means, but I'm just saying that people assume that the organizations that they're working with are legitimate, and they're not, and a lot of the times they're not. And nobody questions an environmental Save the Orangutans organization and whether it's valid or it's fraudulent, but the numbers are pretty severe. Is there any sort of mechanism in place to avoid working with these fraudulent organizations or causes that are bogus?
Well, it's a great question, Chris, and I think the issue is not just with environmental organizations. I think that people in general, what they can, when they have the opportunity to, to gain something, it doesn't matter if it's an environmental organization or a different organization. And in some way, you can say that we're not just, fighting nature. We're actually fighting human nature. So that is a big issue. I can tell you, the people here have their heads in the clouds, their hearts in the right place, and their feet on the ground. And we understand that for us to be accountable to future generations, we have to manage our finances and legal and all of this stuff in a very responsible way. So we're going to have 1,000 founders watching everything that we do, stepping in and making sure that everything is kosher. And part of that is, have the right kind of engagement with other organizations. And I can tell you, I didn't say anything about myself, but my background is in computer science. I'm a systems guy. And so our goal is to create those systems that can report and measure in a transparent and verifiable way. We're accountable to 8 billion people, and I don't know how many people, future generations. So Chris, this sounds like something, and I remember the question you or the note that you said about making it profitable, right? To do not just do that as a nonprofit, but also as an industry. That's an important aspect of what we're doing here. And so you're invited to jump in. Sounds like you have a lot to contribute on that front.
And then one more question: has anybody looked into the Bhutan model? Because Bhutan is actually carbon positive or neutral, negative. They're not just carbon neutral. They are the only country that's carbon positive. Anyway, they are cleaning more carbon dioxide than they're producing. And has anybody looked into how they're doing it?
No, that I haven't heard that before, but we'll look into that.
Yeah, that they are.
Chris, let's connect on that. And I'd love to hear more about that. So, because this is about sharing approaches that work. And if any one of you have got anything that works, please let us know. We are committed because our ears are bigger than our mouth. We've got 2 ears and 1 mouth, and we want to use it appropriately.
Yeah, Bhutan is highly motivated to be the standard and to be a resource for other people to replicate what they've accomplished and what they know surrounding carbon dioxide.
We'll talk some more, Chris. Thank you.
Very good. I'd like to hear from Ellen and from Chen and from John.
As well as Anthony.
Anthony, yes. Anthony, why don't you go first, Anthony?
Good evening, gentlemen. What I'm going to do is I'm going to connect with AM and we're going to have a conversation. I'll leave it over to the lady to talk. I like what I see. Thank you.
Sounds good. Thank you very much, Anthony. Ellen, go ahead.
Thank you. Greetings to everyone. I'm amazed at what I've heard, and I'm very excited to be a part of what is happening. I was invited by AM, and I'm really, really happy to be here. And I was also more amazed, especially with the bamboo project. I really love that because I also asked a question. I think I registered for the next one webinar, but I wanted to know how like I am in Africa, I'm in Zambia. How do we participate in the Climate Restoration Alliance in a different way? I may not be an angel, but how can I participate?
Excellent, Ellen. So please join us on October 22nd. We have the Ambassadors Program. These are people that are part of a geography or community or a faith, and they speak the language, the message of climate restoration to their audience. And so one type of ambassador is a country level ambassador. We have the climate restoration ambassadors to Benin, to Togo, and to Kenya. We love what's happening in Africa. Africa is waking up, taking leadership, and we would love to support that. So one of the models that we're going to be discussing is the model of a climate restoration center. In this case, for example, the Togo Climate Restoration Center will introduce climate restoration solutions and funding and expertise and so on from the network into Togo. So we can definitely talk about other countries as well. Very good. Chris, did you want to add something? Thank you very much, Ellen.
No, thank you very much. I look forward to that conversation.
Very
thank
good.
you.
Almost about when talking about profits and being in country, where are these profits staying in their host country, or are they being exported out to other companies that are not influencing or making any sort of positive impact on the local economies?
That's a great question. We're not going to get into that. Let's have a separate meeting, but I'm just going to say that one of the things that we're working on is a slightly upgraded business model. Instead of thinking about this as a for-profit versus non-profit, we're thinking of a combined model that we call for impact, which means that the impact comes first. We can make money, we can distribute profits, but these are shared with the local stakeholders. This is another very interesting conversation that we're not going to
get. Environmental conservation is sort of something that people
community empowerment, supporting people to help themselves rather than go and help them. This is some of our core values. So Chris, I think you're going to enjoy that conversation. Let's see who else. John.
Shenzhen, looks like you wanted to say something, Chen.
Hold on, let's start with John and then Chen.
Oh yeah, sorry.
Yeah, sure.
John, you're muted, John.
I don't think I'm muted now. Can you hear me?
Oh, it's the other John, right? Hold on, there are two Johns.
Oh, there are two Johns. Sorry.
Hold on.
Okay.
So John Hacker, you start, and then
I'll just say a word. I've worked a lot internationally on climate and sustainability. I'm new to the group here, so I've really appreciated being invited to this. I've learned a lot about what the organization's doing and where you're headed, and so I'll be thinking more about how I can contribute. But I've really appreciated being part of the call. Thank you.
Very good. Thank you very much, John. We'll be happy to set up a personal meeting. John Patterson, would you like to say something? Okay, while we're waiting for that, John, let's hear from Chen.
Oh, thank you guys. And also thank Linda for inviting me. No, I thought it was a very good initiative, and because I recently just graduated from grad school and I study climate studies and biodiversity. So I thought this is a pretty interesting initiative. I would love to be I guess be in the loop in the future. And I guess since I just graduated and then I'm just about to start my full-time job. So funding wise, I probably wouldn't be able to become a champion, but would love to contribute in the future for sure. Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you, Chen. We would love to have you with us. I think John is ready to say something.
Can I be heard now?
Yes, you
you are.
heard.
I live in Haliburton, Ontario, about 3 hours north of Toronto. And we've lived here since retiring 20 years ago. And our focus during that time has been the restoration of a gravel pit from an ugly eyesore to create, to green it and to grow vegetables that we call our project Abbey Gardens. And it's coming along beautifully. The real interest in the community now, in addition to that, we're working with a retreat to establish a retreat center, which is now well underway for cancer patients. But that's not why we're here today. We're here to talk about the oceans, and I'm very interested in this. Clearly, you take on what you can take on, but to find a model that actually is talking about solving the issue instead of just messing around the edges of it is a very exciting thing, and I'm appreciative of the invitation to come. I have been reading the book on this that helped to start this effort, and it's very exciting read. So thank you for the invitation, and I hope that we can stay in touch on this.
Absolutely. Thank you very much, John. And just know that Peter is working on the sequel. Peter, when will the second book will be published?
Well, we're shooting for first quarter of next year.
Excellent, excellent. We can't wait. I'm sure the sequel is going to be even better than the first one. Chuck and Frank, you've been there very quiet. We're almost done with the meeting. I'd like to hear from you, Chuck and Frank Mondi. Frank, it's great that you can join us.
Go ahead, Frank. Frank's been telling jokes all the while. He's done a great presentation. And there was one line that came, a couple of things I wanted to share, but one line that came up for me is like just when asked as to what the impact has been, and frankly, I was just moved to tears by the whole presentation. It's so heartwarming after, so many years of plugging along and not making a lot of progress, or so it seems, and bumping up against things, to see it coming together the way you forecasted it, that little donations will build a platform for which larger donations will come. Well, those larger donations are coming, and I just pass on to everyone. Those of you that are on the larger platform, you're building the platform for the next level of donations, and it is absolutely going to happen. Thank you for stepping up. Thank you for being donors. Thank you for contributing your energy and your time. Thank you all.
Thank you, Chuck. Frank, anything to add?
Well, it is interesting from the inception that we've been here, the small number of individuals, and to see it grow to this point. It just indicates to you that you stay with something that's real and important, and eventually things start to happen. And you can feel the direction that we're going in is the correct direction, and the number of people that are interested in helping us to get to our goal is amazing. And I'm thrilled to be part of this.
Very good. Thank you, Frank. And we're so glad to have you here. I grew up with two sisters, never had a big brother. Now I have so many big brothers. It's such a pleasure, Chuck and Frank and Kirk and Peter, and just amazing to work with such great people.
It's interesting that you point to that. I sent a personal email to Frank earlier this year, thanking him for being the big brother I never had. I grew up with two sisters also, and I was the oldest. And that points to the quality of people, my experience of the quality of people that become involved and have been involved in this whole initiative to save the planet. For now, the planet's going to be there to save it so it supports humanity.
And you can feel the only thing I wanted. I always talk about alignment, and I really feel this is happening. You know, alignment of so many people, organizations, and with that comes tremendous force. And eventually, we're going to get there. And I'm very excited about that.
One second, Terry. I know you're dealing with a lot of family stuff and so on. Terry, would you like to say a few words, Terry? Terry Gibbs.
Yeah. Well, first, AM, I want to say thank you so much. It's so wonderful to be with you. Alon, thanks for your great leadership, and everyone else for all of the support you're giving. I am old friends with a number of the people who are on or have been participating. So I feel like I'm with old friends, and it's wonderful to be with so many new friends who really care about the future of the planet. I am the co-founder of the Alliance for Sustainability, which was created 42 years ago. And so we feel totally aligned with what you're doing and want to support it in every way possible. And so AM has been filling me in about the great work you're doing. I think all of it I'm an agricultural and applied economist. So I think everything you're doing makes a lot of sense. We're at the end of the meeting, so I won't go on, but I'll just say that I'm very grateful for the scale at which you're really wanting to take this on. So thank you so much.
Very good. Thank you very much, Terry. And I can tell you that one of the groups, one of the teams we're going to set up is partnerships. We are an alliance, and so we want to bring in a lot of partners and organizations. We've been focused up until now on building the pieces of the puzzle. I think now we're ready to get out there. And so you're invited to be a part of that team.
Yeah.
To bring in more organizations.
I'd love to do that. My brother just finished as the head of the Skoll Foundation, and what they do is trying to scale, change, large scale change, including climate. And then I've been meeting with various family offices and others, and so would love to see what we can do to get this to the scale that's really needed. So I really appreciate it, and people like Kirk and others that have put in funding to make that happen. It's inspiring. So thank you guys.
Absolutely. And the people that are wealthy understand that they have this money so that they can, give it away and support projects and programs like ours. So thank you very much. We're at the end of the session. I look forward to seeing you on October 22nd, on November 12th for the next founder meeting.
Yeah, we mentioned Hugo. You got a couple of words if you wouldn't mind sharing.
Hugo, where is Hugo?
Yeah, well, thank you very much. I know that we are ending, but we have very good news about our project. We want to sail with you. We want to show you Antarctica. We want to show you the ocean, how we are going to work, maybe in Wales. So please go to our website and maybe you can also support us. We are in a very decisive phase. We have a very good offer to start, hopefully sailing into the Arctic with a ship. We have a very good ship on site. So yeah, please join us, and thank you very much, Ilan, for this opportunity, and AM for the invitation. Thank you very much.
Absolutely, and we are waiting for you to get the ship so we can have a founders gathering on your ship and do OIF while we're enjoying the Arctic. So thank you very much, everybody. Have a good night, and we'll see each other soon. Bye-bye.
Thank you.